Fantasy football is really a ministry opportunity for you as a minister, whether you're ministering to students or other people. It is a real ministry experience. But today we're going to talk about 3 reasons why it is a Phygital ministry opportunity for you as well. Hey heroes, my name is Tom Pounder, and this is the Digital in 5 show. This is the show where we talk about digital tools or trends that are happening around the world and apply it into our ministry context. And in the past, I've talked about fantasy football and how important it is as a ministry experience and an opportunity for you. And I'm going to post those comments in the show notes. So definitely, whether you're listening to this on a podcast or watching the video version of it, check out why it is such a good ministry experience. But today I'm going to share with you 3 specific reasons why it is a Phygital ministry experience. So when you combine the physical with the digital all together in one in this great experience. So we're going to talk about those three specific reasons, and I'm going to talk to you about it through my own personal experience. See, I've been doing a fantasy football league for 18 years. At the time of this filming or recording, I've been doing this same football league for 18 years with majority of the same people. We've had 12 people in the league, and I would say about 8 of those people started out in the first year or 2. And so I've been doing ministry with these people for the last 18 years. So what are those reasons, and what does it look like in real practicality? Well, I'm going to go over those 3 reasons in 3 specific ways right now. The first one is to just recognize that fantasy football is a legitimate ministry opportunity. Again, fantasy football is a lot of fun, and it's a lot of good ways just to keep in touch with the NFL and whatnot. And it's a lot of fun, to be honest. If you like football, fantasy football is a great thing. It's one of the most popular things to do digitally during the football season is participate in a fantasy football league. Well, in 2003, when I first started doing student ministry at this one particular church I was at, I got to meet some new kids, and one of the things that they were interested in doing was fantasy football. And back in 2003, fantasy football was really new and really young. There wasn't a lot of information about it. You could do different things here, but it was mostly like in-person stuff. It wasn't digital. And, there was a Yahoo League, there was ESPN, but it wasn't like it is currently. Well, in order for me to get to know people and students in the ministry, they wanted to start a fantasy football league. So I was like, okay, let's participate in it. And so we started a fantasy football league with me and a few other leaders as well as students. And it was only a 10-person league back then, and we eventually expanded to more. But it was a great opportunity for me to get to know kids. And if you really look at it, I've been doing this league for 18 years. And as I said earlier, about 8 of them have been consistent that entire time for within the first year or 2. We've had a lot of life that we've gone through because we've gone through different things. These kids started off in high school. Now they have kids. Now they're married. Now they're going through all sorts of things. And the one thing that's been consistent is that they have been with me this entire time. I haven't been their student minister that entire time, but I've been doing ministry with them that entire time. I've experienced highs, and I've experienced a lot of lows with them. And the one thing that keeps us connected, it literally keeps us connected, is fantasy football. So it's a legitimate ministry opportunity. It's not just something that comes and go. If you really invest in it and invest in those people that you're doing fantasy football league, it's a legitimate ministry opportunity for you. The second thing is there is a digital component to it. Like I just said, when fantasy football just started out, there's a lot of magazines about it, and there's things that you can do on paper and keep track of it on paper, but there's also the digital component to it. And so fantasy football has become highly digital, and if you're keeping a track of all these stats, you can't do it alone. You need an app to be a part of it. ESPN, CBS, all these major platforms, Yahoo, they all have fantasy football opportunities. And so there is a digital component to it. But the great part about why it's a ministry opportunity here is that you can play football against the teams. I can play this person this week and this person that week, and we can win or lose. But the important part of it is the chat room. The chat room is a really great opportunity for you to talk trash, be silly, be stupid, but also just talk about life. And the cool thing about it is that early on, we abandoned the chat room in the platform, and we just started doing it text groups. And now we're on a text platform that we just text. We literally text every day. There's not a single day that doesn't go by that we're not talking about something. It could be life issues. It could be church issues. It could be sports issues. It could be fantasy issues. Whatever it is, we're talking about life. I've been with these guys for 18 years. This group, through the digital component, has only gotten stronger because we don't all live in the same area either. We have a friend of ours who lives in Ohio. We have some that live in other parts of the state that we can't see each other as much. And so there's a digital component that keeps you connected, keeps you going, keeps you talking, and keeps the ministry opportunities happening. So there's that digital component. And number 3 is that fantasy football is in person too. You know, the one thing that we've done while we've been keeping in touch digitally very well, one of the things that we've really had to make a bigger effort to do is because we're so spread out and because we all have families or different life situations, we've had to really fight to be in person. But every year, we fight to be in person. We do special things throughout the year where we get together and be in person. In fact, this year was one of the best times that we got to be together because we spent an overnight. We took 24 hours away from our families, and we took 24 hours and we spent time together, having fun, drafting, and then sitting and talking. I'm going to get a little emotional here, but this time was so important because we sat up until 2 o'clock in the morning, laughing, sharing memories, sharing heartaches, and just talking about life. And we were in person, and it was all because of fantasy football. Like I don't think I would have had that opportunity with people if it wasn't for fantasy football. And I've been able to stay in touch with a lot of people over the years, and I've used a lot of digital tools, but these guys are my core. These guys are the guys I've gone through a lot of life with. 18 years for most of these guys. And it's been a fascinating experience where I've been able to invest in them through this simple little thing called fantasy football. So fantasy football is purely Phygital. There's an in-person component, there's a digital component, but it is such a ministry opportunity. So if you're thinking about using fantasy football and you're wondering, is it a waste of time? It doesn't have to be. Listen, I've been a part of leagues before that have gone nowhere. But this league shows and is a testimony to how you can use that as a real ministry experience and real ministry opportunity. So those are the 3 reasons for me, and I firmly believe in and stand behind it. But I would love to hear from you. Do you play fantasy football? What are you using fantasy football for, and how are you using it as a ministry opportunity? Definitely share it in the comment sections below. I would love to hear your thoughts on it. And let's continue this conversation. You can even hit me up on Twitter, @TA_Pounder. I would love to talk to you a little bit more about that today. Also, if you'd love to subscribe to this, go to iTunes or Spotify, subscribe to the audio version, or you can go to YouTube or ymsidekick.com and subscribe to the video portion. I would love to, again, you check that out. And again, continue these conversations with me so we can all learn from each other. All right, heroes, well, thanks so much for being with me today. As always, I hope you have a great rest of your day, a great rest of the week, and until next time, have a great one.